Hello, amazing trailblazers. We are here for another free training in the Women on the Rise group. From the Institute for Female Trailblazers. So I am your host for today, Leanne Jameson. I'm so excited to be here with you. We are talking about energy alignment. We are talking about what energy has to do with anything, whether it's, focusing on our goals or maybe looking at different patterns within our life that have been inhibiting us to move forward, right? Have you ever been on that brink of like a breakthrough, or you feel like there's something just above? You're just like, oh my gosh, I see it like all my vision is that was meant to come true. My mission, my vision, this goal that I've been working on is just right here. And we're just, I always talk about just like we're right on the brink of like a miracle. Don't stop before the miracle happens, all of that, where we have an opportunity to actually utilize what's already within us to be able to move through and past that breakthrough. So today we are truly talking about energy. What does energy have to do with anything? It has everything to do with it. So, so much energy right now, so many ideas. This live is in alignment completely. So as you're coming in, just say hello, drop a hi. How are you feeling? Maybe even just drop into your body for a moment and just feel what it's like in your body. Is it light? Is it like chaotic? Is it like static? Is it just sort of stagnant? What does the energy feel like? Is it heavy? Is it really creative? Is it like sort of bouncing all around? So put that in the comments. As you're coming in, just say hello. Where is your energy right now? We spend way too much of our time from here up, okay? we actually spend a lot of time just disengaging from our body, and this is about dropping into our body and actually checking in with what's happening and how we're feeling. Because what happens is that when we are just on that brink of the breakthrough and we cycle back around and we feel like we're still stuck and stagnant, it's because our energy is not aligning with where we're going. All right. We are created of energy. We are created with energy all around us, the energy of people, the energy of our environment, the energy of our clothes, the energy of what we drink, what we eat. Everything has an energetic field. So if we are completely ignoring that, we are not going to have the breakthrough and the transformation that you are looking for. So who is looking for a true transformation and that breakthrough to that next level, whatever that may be for you? Put a yes in the comments. Yeah, energy feels chaotic today. Absolutely, right? So being able to just recognize how this plays into what we're doing on a daily basis and what we're moving into. So we're going to be breaking it down just very minimally today. There's so much behind what we do in the Institute for Female Trailblazers, how we combine the energetic alignment with all of the work that we're doing on a soul level, on a spiritual level, and on that cognitive level, right? If we are if we are not so ready, if we're not paying attention to our energy, we're not truly allowing the space for the transformation to happen. And that's just sad, right? When I think about just being stuck and leaving people stuck, that's just sad. I don't want to do that. And I don't want you to do that. So this is, when we think about the different ways, and we're going to go into a couple different techniques that I utilize, but being able to recognize that, what is the energy that you're setting up? How is it impacting me? Even the energy of other people and how that's impacting you. These are all things to be aware of, because what happens is, like some of the techniques that we're going to be talking about, it truly is, especially our breath. Okay. I want to just get this out there right now. Our breath is so important to our transformation. Okay. How we're sitting, how we're standing, like our posture, so important. So, to see how the energy is moving through us, right? For those of us who don't know about chakras, you can go and listen to my Sit Crooked Talk Straight We did this, what the chakra are you talking about, where it talks about the different energy centers within our system and stuff like that. If you're part of my program, there's a complete breakdown of the energy centers in that group. So be sure to check it out, because it really is, again, if we're just looking at our cognitions, if we're just looking at our thoughts, right? If we're looking at, and this is what a lot of coaches do, and again, the very powerful techniques of just that visual imagery, looking at our limiting thoughts and our limiting behaviors, shifting our behaviors. But if we are not paying attention to our energy, we are truly just addressing sort of like this topical. It's very topical. It doesn't go very in depth to like long lasting changes. So this is what we're talking about here. Who wants long lasting changes? Put a yes in the comments. That's what we're going for. This is the importance of recognizing your energy. So what I'm talking about here is that recognizing, again, it's like there's this power of the energy alignment with our goals and our visions, right? When we actually step into that awareness that what we do, how we stand, how our posture is, how we breathe, being intentional with that has an impact on us getting to that next step, breaking through to the next step. When our energy is misaligned or depleted, we struggle, right? We struggle to muster up the energy, the motivation, the enthusiasm, right? How many times have you just said like, well, I'm not paying attention to it. I lost focus of it, or, I'm on to the next thing. I know for me, I'm just like bright, shiny object, which is part of just being a visionary, being a trailblazer that you are, is that you have so many different thoughts. You have so many different ways that you want to impact the community and the world around you and your family, right? So many different visions of that. But then it's like so scattered, right? Chaotic. Somebody put chaotic in the comments there, when it's just like so chaotic and we don't know how to utilize it. So then we can become depleted, we can get frustrated, we can just give up on it. And that's not what we're here to do, right? So it's so important to recognize and learn the signs of the misaligned energy, and to be able to give you some quick tips on how to realign so that you can powerfully move forward. This is about stopping the suffering, right? We want to end the suffering. I want to put that in the comments. Like, I want to end my suffering. In order to end our suffering, this is a big part of it, right? Our breath is truly this bridge from our mind to our body. So when we can, and again, I'll go into that energy alignment. This is one of the quick tips, is by using our breath. Okay. And because it's such a strong connection between our mind and our body, how we utilize it and when we utilize it is going to be key. So this is why I have monthly energy alignments in my group, because, and we do it even more so, right? It's not just monthly. It's like we're continuously realigning and checking in with ourselves. It's the foundation of what we do in my program. So if you're ever interested in learning more about the program, the Institute for Female Trailblazers, the Academy, reach out to Renee. She is here to be able to offer you the support and the guidance and any kind of clarity that you need. So I just wanted to put that out there. Oh, also, if you want the handout, if you have not received the handout yet, put handout please in the comments and Renee will send that over to you. So with every single one of these trainings, we have a handout for you. I know I love handouts, so that's why we give them to you as well. As we're moving through this, when we're looking at what are the 3 signs, I want to give you the 3 signs of misaligned energy. Okay. So, and a lot of times we just chalk this up to just like, I'm too exhausted. I just have so much going on right now. So again, I want you to, as I'm identifying them, I want you to be able to recognize how this comes up for you, right? How it shows up, what you actually tell yourself, and maybe some of the excuses that you use, right? And again, I say excuses very lovingly because they're very true. It's just like, oh, I have a lot going on. I had this happening. I had this happening. I have all of these things that I'm trying to juggle and I just don't have the time. Well, guess what? I'm telling you that when we align our energy, we can actually create time. We become time benders. We become time creators. Okay. This is about us taking our time and our energy back. So Three signs of misaligned energy. The first one is that you just feel drained or exhausted despite making efforts towards your goals, right? So you're making those efforts towards your goals, you're setting aside the time, and you just feel so tired. This is really, really interesting when you I call this bucking up against your conditioned self. So, for instance, I'll just give you an example of me when I had that misaligned energy. So, there's really science behind the misaligned energy, just so you know. We have so many different limiting beliefs that we're not even aware of because we are only aware of like 10% of our thoughts. Okay, 10% of our thoughts. We have 65,000 thoughts per day, okay, on average. So being able to recognize that our thoughts are just one of them, but there's so many undercurrents of messages. So there the undercurrent of messages might be like, oh, I'm too scared, I don't want to do this, I'm just going to fail anyways, but we're not aware of this. So how it actually comes out is that you feel really exhausted. So my example that I give is that when I was looking at some money mindset is a huge one for most women. Okay. So our relationship with money, it is a paradigm shift that we actually experience when we start looking at it and developing a different relationship with it. So anyway, whenever early on with my coach, right, whenever she got into the logistics of money or looking at money and our relationship with money and like how am I like what do I want to create with this money, how much money do I want to create my business, I literally, my eyes got heavy and I started just like, and I could feel my whole body just like start to become so exhausted. Like I could barely keep my eyes open. And that would happen when I would like, when they were talking about taking responsibility for your money and having wealth consciousness and what do you want to invest in? Because there was so much happening underneath where it's like, well, I can't invest. Like I'm just starting a business. Like, how am I even going to invest? How does she even want me to do this? I'm not, what was one of the beliefs that I had is that I'm not responsible with money. Right? Money just comes and goes, and it's like a sticking point in money. Like people fight about money. That's what I experienced when I was younger, right? So anytime this came into play early on in my expansion, I would physically get tired. Has that happened? Now that I mentioned that, has that happened to anybody else? I see that, I feel that 100%, right? You will physically become exhausted when you're about to have like a breakthrough or you're like shifting, you're making some huge energetic shifts, huge mindset shifts, right? So being able to recognize that there's something there that is misaligned, right? Without getting down on yourself, without criticizing yourself, just being like, wow, this, like I always say, this is why I always say, stay curious and stay compassionate, because we're going to be going through a lot of awareness. Okay. So that's the one sign of misaligned energy. Another sign of misaligned energy is that all of a sudden you sort of experience a lack of passion or like enthusiasm for your projects. Like something that was just like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I'm so, this is great. I can't wait to do this, right? I have all these different ideas. And then they just sort of fall to the wayside. And you're just like, oh yeah, I guess I'll get to it whenever, right? There is an underlying current. This has happened. And I'll give you, I love giving examples, real examples. So with my book, right, with just getting it out to editors, getting it out to publishing companies, there has been such a big sticking point because there's so much fear around that. I can set myself up with goals. I can set myself up with like, write for 30 minutes, just do it first thing in the morning. I know all this. Ladies, we are smart. Can you just put that in the comments? Like, I am very intelligent. Right? And I know that I can do these things. I know that I can set myself up and my calendar set it up for success. I know that I can like hold accountability with other people, right? And to send stuff out. But I remember my husband talking to me when I was like frustrated, when I was just like, right? I'm like, I just can't like get myself to do this. He was like, did you set aside time? Did you do this? Did you do that? I'm like, I fucking tried everything. Like I've done it all. I don't need you. I know that there is an underlying current of fear about getting this book out there and being rejected and all of these other things. So, like, being able to understand that and then to have the tools to shift it so that we can actually do it. Because guess what? When we align with our goals, when we move forward with our goals, we become so much more confident. We become passionate again. Like we just have that, like, oh my gosh, I did that, right? Who's with me? I'm fucking smart. Yes, absolutely. I love that. So that could be another sign of misaligned energy, of just like when you have this beautiful download of like, this is what it's meant to be. This is what I'm meant to do. And then all of a sudden you just sort of just like put the brakes on it. And then you come up with every excuse not to do it. And you're just like, that's no, I'm just going to let that go. Right. So being able to recognize that. Another sign that I want to identify of misaligned energy. And also, has anybody experienced that when you're just like, yes, this is it. And then it's like, oh, never mind. Right? I'm not going to do this. And then you find yourself coming up with all different things or getting busy, right? You become too busy. I might have to go to the grocery store 3 times instead of writing, right? Like so that stuff is real. Okay. So this is that misaligned energy. The last one that I want to identify is this struggling to maintain focus and productivity despite your best intentions. Something that I just recognized, right? This lack of passion, but it can also be that squirrel over here. I have to go to the grocery store again. I have to do this again. I have to do that again. I set aside this time specifically to do this, but guess what? I have to do X, Y, and Z. Like you distract yourself with all of these things, right? So anybody else a distractor? Anybody else like a master distractor? Put a yes in the comments. Put a hand up. There's no shame in this. Again, this is simply just being aware. This is just about bringing it to our awareness that like, oh, look at that. This is happening. Curiosity and compassion, my friends. Curiosity and compassion. Those are going to be your 2 favorite words, hopefully, so that you can move through this. Because otherwise, what we tend to do if we step out of that curiosity and compassion is become really, really critical of ourselves and actually pretty nasty to ourselves. Anybody else have like a nasty person within them that's like, oh God, you're such a fucking loser? We have that. We have that. And she is not very nice. And guess what? Those are not our words. Okay. I want to let you know that. So, anyway, struggling to maintain focus. That's another sign of that misaligned energy. There's an undercurrent of like other things happening where our brain is not connecting with our body. Our body will always tell us the truth. Always. And guess what? We do not pay enough attention to her. Okay, so this is your sign to actually stop trying to figure it out and drop into what you're experiencing and what you're sensing. Okay, because our body will remember experiences even stronger than our mind does. Right? We have these somatic markers telling us, and that's why we just like stop mid-stroke or stop mid word or whatever it is, or whatever our goal is, and we just stop. And that is such a sign. Okay, so being able to identify, first of all, I want you to be aware of those signs, and those are just a couple. There's so many more, but those are the big ones, right? The 3 signs of misaligned energy. So why? Again, what does energy have to do with it? And I don't know if you guys recognize this, but a little bit about me, I will have this like song come to my head. And I don't know if you guys notice this, but it's like, what's love got to do with it? I'm just like, ooh, what's energy got to do with it? That's what happens in my mind when I'm creating these, okay? Talk about energy and energy alignments. I'm telling you, music speaks to my soul in so many different ways. That it's wild. So anyway, a little bit about me. So what does energy have to do with it? What are the benefits of aligning your energy to match your goals? Okay. How is this important, and how can it actually transform your life? And I spent a little bit of time on this. You're so here for it. Love it. So being able to look at when we align our energy with our goals, it actually enhances our motivation and our enthusiasm. So when, and again, you might think about that of just like flow. It's just like everything sort of like clicks. I've had this, like, it's like gears clicking. I've had this like image in my mind, and I've said this a couple times just in my group programs of just like, it's just like, the gears of a watch clicking together. It's right, where it's just like everything clicks together, everything flows. It enhances our motivation, our enthusiasm. It re-energizes us. It gives us that, like, the ability to move forward, right? So that's why I said, it's just like, have you ever found yourself in like the blurb of just like what this is? Have you ever found yourself to just be sort of stuck, right? There's so much behind, the New Year's resolutions. That's what comes to my mind too, because so many people give up on it in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I think is like the average, where it's just like they lose motivation. Well, it's because there's an underlying current of energy that's not aligned with what they're telling themselves they want, right? Or what we want, because I know that you've probably been there too, just like I have. I'm like, yes, I gave up on resolutions. I do something different. I do declarations and stuff like that. It's just different for me. And that's what I teach also in like my, that's what we do in the beginning of the year. Within my program, we take a retreat to create our declarations. But anyways, that's besides the point. So this is the benefit when we actually are aware that our energy is misaligned and we have the steps to realign it. We have this burst of excitement. We have this burst of motivation and enthusiasm. And guess what's really cool is that when we have the tools to continuously utilize it, it's not just this burst, it is a long lasting ability to stay motivated. Okay. So the second benefit of aligning your energy to match your goals is that you have increased clarity and focus that like enables you more efficient goal attainment, right? So think about that. Like if I have a specific energy alignment, exercise, breath work, which I do, it helps us to increase that clarity. So think about all the times when you're like, I'm not sure which way to go. I'm not sure what the next step is. Anybody there? Hey, Deanna. Oh, it's so good to see you. So anybody have that where it's just, that lack of clarity? It's like, I'm not really sure what that next step is. Guess what? That we can clear our energy, and that will free up the space to allow us to gain that clarity and to allow us to focus based upon what specific energy alignment tool you are using. How does that sound to everybody? Put a yes in the comments, or like, hell yeah, I'm here for that. Who doesn't want increased clarity and focus? And especially in today's day. I was just talking with somebody who we were just talking about how many distractions there are that we really didn't have when we were growing up. And yeah, so anyways, there are little things that I'll teach my kids too. They don't really know like the full understanding of it since they're 10 and 16. Like my daughter will grasp it a little bit more, but I'm like, all right, if you're lacking focus, I want you to do a little bit of stretching, want you to move back and forth. There's so many things that we can do to align our energy. And that's something that, elevates the wood energy, which is a whole different thing. It's all about Chinese medicine. Yes, please. I see that, right? More clarity, focus. The other benefit, this is so cool, you guys, so cool. The other benefit of aligning your energy to match your goals is that you have enhanced resilience. You have the ability to overcome obstacles and setbacks in a much shorter time along the journey. The better we are at connecting with our energy, connecting with like what is happening underneath that, again, the current, the undercurrent, the better we are at just like understanding like, okay, the bounce back, right? Oh my gosh, I feel like we did have a podcast. If you guys ever want to listen to anything, that expands upon some of this and the authentic self, everything, listen to Sick, Crooked, Talk Straight. That's our podcast, mine and Katie's podcast, where we talk about like the bounce back. Like, what do we do for bounce back? But anyway, so that's more about like the enhanced resiliency and overcoming obstacles, because there are going to be obstacles. This is life. We may be spiritual beings, this is a belief that I have. We are spiritual beings. We are still having a human experience. We are still in this human body. So shit's going to happen, right? Things are going to happen that are going to sort of rattle us. And for our ability to sort of bounce back, that's the, again, mindset. But if we're not connecting our mind with our body, forget about it, right? It's just going to be a short-lived sort of a transition or transformation. So actually, it won't be a transformation. It'll just be a short-lived shift. So those are the three benefits of aligning your energy. There are so many more, so many, but those are just three that I wanted to identify today. So here are three quick tips for energy realignment. Right? The first one is to practice mindfulness and self-awareness so that you can identify those blocks. That's why I said, like, just drop into your body. What's happening? How are you sitting? How's your breath? What's going on? Do you feel heavy? Is there lightness? Is there chaos inside? Is it like a trembling in your stomach, right? These are all things to pay attention to. And it doesn't take long, you guys. It takes like 30 seconds just to checking in. What's happening within me? What's going on, right? How do I feel? How does my body feel? Not what I'm thinking, but how do I feel? What are the sensations that are happening? And don't worry, when we do this, when you start doing this, your mind's going to wander. It's probably going to wander every 2 seconds. Okay. It's just about being aware that your mind is wandering and then bringing it back to your body. Mind is wandering, bring it back to your body. I remember I would get so frustrated with myself when I started my mindfulness practices 15 years ago, I think it was. Where I just remember telling my mentor, like, I can't fucking do it. And we were doing like a 3-minute visual imagery. Okay. And I was just like, I can't do it. I'm so frustrated. My mind's all over the place. I'm just never going to be able to do this. And one of the most beneficial things she said, Lisa Cottrell, if you ever want to check her out, she's on Facebook, Cottrell. She is phenomenal. I think that she has a mindfulness course going on right now. She's just an amazing woman. But I remember her telling me, she's like, did you notice that your mind was wandering? And that's all she asked. I said, yeah, I was. Of course I was. I just told you I was, right? It was all over the place. And she's like, that's mindfulness, love. Like, that is mindfulness, is when we recognize that our thoughts are going all over the place. And then we make an intention to bring it back. And then it drifts and it comes back. Anybody else? Yeah. Drop into your body. Always dropping. Anybody else ever say like, oh, mindfulness just isn't for me, or I'm never going to be able to get this? I hope that resonated with you, because I was there too. And it is, I would just get so damn frustrated. So that's the first quick tip for energy realignment, is that self-awareness, right? We're not going to, if we're just going on autopilot for, I want to say like 90% of our time anyways, is that we're on autopilot. We're not going to pick up on these cues. And that's really, not great for us. It's really not fair to us and where we want to go, because that just leads to more suffering, right? So that's the first one. The second, I love this, energy realignment. There's a reason, I don't know if anybody else feels this, like when you feel so connected when you're in nature, whether it be by the ocean or in the mountains or in a hot tub outside, or like, that's still an element when you think about it, water, right? So engage in activities that replenish and nourish your energy. You can exercise, you can meditate, you can have creative pursuits. I know something else is just like when I am like blocked creatively, blocked creatively, it's my water element. So I do more water elements, exercises, painting or coloring or tapping in or journaling or poetry or something like that, where I just allow it to be. So those are the creative pursuits. Or like when I want to do fire, like, again, I'm getting into the Chinese medicine. You're going to hear me throw it out there a little bit here and there. But there's so much behind it. And it's something that I integrate into my programs. So being able to recognize, like, my exercise typically consists of cycling and like light body lifting, HIIT classes or something like that. That's a lot of fire. That's a lot of high intensity gets me going. It's like, go, 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 right? And it's just like so much. It's like a lot of wood and fire, I would say. But it's just high impact, high energy. So for me, it's really important to listen to myself. And when I need a break from that and go into more of a meditative yoga class, I just signed up for, I love this one that I go to on Saturdays. That just like brings me back down. And it's called ease in. Like, that's what I need. I know I need to ease in. I know I need to get grounded. I know I need to like nourish myself that way. So what are some things that you love to do that really feel like they nourish and replenish your energy? Put it in the comments. What is that for you? It could be a getaway. It could be just sitting outside. It could be literally smelling the roses. It could be planting a garden, whatever that may be. Make sure that you integrate it. And it's going to be different all the time. And that's why it's really important to drop into your body to be like, what do I need right now? Right? What is it that my soul needs to replenish? Right? Being in the mountains. I love the mountains. Oh gosh, I was telling my mom, and I know that we have mountains here, so it's like I don't need to, I want to expand into what surrounds me here in New York again, because we were gone for so long. But the last place that we lived in Georgia was at the foothills of the Appalachian Trail. And I have never felt so connected to the earth and just to my soul, and going on waterfall hikes and just, oh gosh. And there were so many spiritual people there. Anyways, I love the mountains, walk in the forest. Yeah. There's something, isn't it? Yes, yoga and singing. I love that. Isn't there? There's like forest bathing where you just like sit in the forest and it's just like you allow yourself to soak up that energy. Just so you know, and I mentioned this too, there's no mountains in New York. There's places to hike. I'm sure there are. So, but I'm telling you, it's nothing like the foothills of the Appalachian Trail. So anyways, it's, just giving yourself the space to really to check in with yourself. So the other spoiled here, I know I got to get there. So the last quick tip for energy realignment is breath work and movement. Okay, you can do these things together or one or the other. Breath work and movement, when combined together along with, kriyas or mantras or, anything like that, chants, so powerful. So powerful. I will tell you, and it's wild when I talk to so many women, that have gone through my program or have gone to my retreats. And even for myself, it was just like, what was that one thing that really shifted so much? When you look at the 20%, what is the 20% that gives you the 80% outcome? Breath work. Not shitting you. Breath work has been transformational, which does not surprise me because it is that bridge from the mind to the body. Okay. So being able to recognize this, and there are specific breath work exercises that we use to elicit certain like energy alignments. I love holotropic. It's very activating. You can go on journeys with it. There's so much that happens in that. And I've seen it happen across the board with women that they're like, holy shit, that was so powerful. So again, we're not even aware of what we're holding on to. You don't even have to be aware. You just have to set the intention and go into, again, there are specific breath works that go along with what energy you want to create or what you want to release, things like that. I think most people really utilize breath work, or they envision breath work as like a calming thing of like, the deep breaths in and making sure that you're breathing deeply. And we have this tendency to breathe actually from our chest, which is constantly activating the sympathetic nervous system, which is our survival. That is why we're always on the go and always high alert and just like so much. So being able to utilize that and just a simple breathing into your stomach and just, again, that allows you to drop into your body. But then we have other breathwork exercises that are more for specific experiences. Okay. So if you want to learn more about that energy alignment. If you want to learn more about we're talking about aligning your mission and your vision, your legacy, and your energy along with that, we have a virtual event coming up next Friday. It's Zoom only, so you have to register with Aligning with Your Legacy Masterclass. It's a 90-minute masterclass. Again, it's a Zoom. You have to register. Renee will put the link in the comments there. So that is truly looking at, like, what do we do to gain clarity of that mission and the vision and your legacy, right? And then looking at the mindset shifts, but also energy alignment with that. So that's going to be really powerful. So make sure that you mark your calendar. It's next Friday, April 12th, from 12 to 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. And it is Zoom. It's not going to be here live. It's going to be on a Zoom. It's not recorded. So make sure that, you show up. So there's that. And then we have an in-person event. So if you're local here to Buffalo and you have a business that you are ready to up-level the brand, I am collaborating with Jill Burrell, and we are actually holding the art of storytelling through branding. So I am there to help you recognize what your mission is, to release some of those limiting beliefs, to help you with that breath work, that energy alignment, so that you can see yourself clearly. And Jill is there to help guide you in creating your branding through photos. Beautiful, like just a beautiful combo. And that's actually on April 20th. From 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in Buffalo at Jill's studio. So there's a virtual event for all of my people that are global. And then for the people that are here in Buffalo, we do have the art of storytelling through branding. For everybody else, there's Align with Your Legacy Masterclass next Friday. So I'm so excited to see you all there. Be sure to sign up, and let me know if you have any questions. Let Renee know if you have any questions. Reach out to her. Like I said, she's your success advisor. So definitely reach out to her with any questions about this training, or maybe even the events that are coming up, and she will be able to guide you appropriately. She is there to connect with. She loves having connect calls too, just to learn more about all of you and getting into what else we can provide to you. Don't forget, we also have the Blaze and Sip. That's a Zoom that's coming up in the middle. I think it's the third Monday of this month. So we're going to have something special for you on the Dare to Dream. We do have the Dare to Dream happening right now. It's hashtag Dare to Dream. We have so much to support you with. So let us know what we can do. Reach out to Renee with any questions regarding any of the events or anything that you might want to be seeing in the Blaze and Sip. That's the tea time with us, where we show up on Zoom and we connect with all of you. So sending so much light and love your way, ladies. Remember to stay courageous, right? Stay compassionate, and let your legacy shine.